Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast. I'm Moshe.
I'm Natasha.
And I want to say to our listeners how nice and meaningful all of your well wishes were after the episode with Pablo and after we said goodbye to Pablo. It was I was self-conscious when we did the farewell to Pablo episode because I didn't feel any emotions. I mean, I was feeling like generally this is sad, and but then I needn't have worried because I've been a total crying mess for the last week ever since actually saying goodbye to him. And of course, Natasha, I mean, I don't know if you planned it this way, but she got a movie role and left the day after Pablo died. So it was just me doing Mr. Mom between the tracks of my tears, trying to do fun dad activities while weeping over looking at 3 dog bowls. I mean, the first time I went to feed the dogs and I instinctively grabbed 3 bowls, I just turned into a weeping mess. And seeing all those messages come through really was helpful to me. We have a good community of listeners.
Well, honey, I'm sorry that you were crying all week. And hopefully some of that was assuaged. Is that a word?
It is. By
not having to pick up diarrhea at 3 a.m.?
Well, I was feeling so sad and nostalgic for Pablo that I was going to local COVID wards and stuff and asking if they had any accidents that I could clean up.
Too soon.
Too soon for what?
COVID jokes.
It's too soon for COVID jokes? Is it too soon for Pablo jokes?
No, those are good.
No, I did, though, while you were away. I did take a shit on the rug myself just so I could still feel his presence, But I miss him, One thing I realized saying goodbye to old Pablo is that when these dogs get old, he was so cantankerous and difficult that I spent the last year of my life dealing with him and not having a friend. And is this a little bit too sincere? The point is, what I've been thinking a lot about is all the fun times I had with Pablo over the years before he began aggressively biting, shitting, barking, coughing, and
peeing on the velvet.
I miss my old pal, and I thank you, Endless Honeymoon Podcast listeners, for getting me through it.
And also, Moshe and I are sleeping more soundly now because we were able to hang up the curtains that we had to take off because he was marking the bottoms of them. So
right.
I had them dry cleaned and in storage, and then we'd have to get up at the crack of dawn because the sun would start beating through our windows. So that's good.
And we got a box of Pablo ashes coming that we'll be selling as a part of our Patreon. If you're at the $95 a month level, we will send you a tablespoon of Pablo's ashes. I think it's so bizarre to get the ashes. We're getting them, but I think it's so bizarre to get the ashes of a pet. It's I'm gonna sprinkle it. What am I gonna do? Put it in my Wheaties? Anyway,
no, you go put them in the ocean.
Yeah, it just.
I was thinking I wanted to, because my dog Cutie is so fluffy and cute. Is it weird to shave off a bit of her and use it as a little muff?
Well, you don't shave an animal.
When she's dead, could they skin it?
Skin.
And then use it as a little muff. Is that too weird?
I would say that's one of the weirder things if you did that, it would be one of the weirder things I had ever heard of.
Why? Then I could always pet her little scrub.
I mean, you're going to send Cutie's corpse to a taxidermist?
I don't know. Is there a furrier in town? Maybe someone in Beverly Hills who makes little, you know what I'm talking about? Like a fur collar.
Yeah, I think everybody knows what you're talking about. They're horrified by the concept.
Why? Is it better to put her in dirt than to wear her? If I'm going to wear some unknown fox, I might as well wear her.
You shouldn't be wearing unknown fox either.
Well, I only do because I have vintage furs in my closet that I save for myself, and I wear them only at home and never take pictures of myself in them because I've had them for ages. They were passed down from family members. I'm not going to burn them.
This is like every fur wearer's long-winded explanation. Oh, it's vintage. It's from an old lineage of, I've had it for many generations.
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, I hear you. Listen, I'm a very hairy person. Do you think when I die that you would skin me? And
Nope.
Why not?
I don't
I
want
want to be your muff.
Honey, it's not going to happen.
I would love to be your muff. Take me on stage with you so I can feel the electricity of the stage one more time.
If anyone out there doesn't think it's weird and has any tips, or if anyone's done a similar thing, let me know. I'm not saying I want like a fur hat with her paws hanging down.
That would be cute. I gotta say to the listeners, by the way, steel yourselves emotionally because Cutie is not long for this world. She ain't looking.
Don't say that, honey. You're not supposed to mourn the living.
You were celebrating his death. I'd be sad when Cutie died. You did the cha-cha the minute the vet was done. Remember you put on those wood shoes and that Chiquita Banana headdress and you started doing the cha-cha?
I did shut the gate when he left with the little basket full of Pablo, and I said, "And don't come back." And
no, you didn't. You did not. I thought you were serious. I mean, it would almost be in character that you did that to his corpse. Poor little guy. Natasha, should we get this party started?
Let's do it.
We have some written in questions, as we always do on the Secret Dump. And this one, I think this one is close to Natasha's heart.
Okay, Stacy Cap is asking us, is it okay to not share a room with my significant other? Here's the thing. I've been away for a while, a few weeks at a time. Got my own little thing going. I started getting really into TV. Like, I started watching things. I finished almost all of Chippendales. Our friend Kumail's in it. It was great. And, you know, I just started getting into, like, binging television. And I was like, wait, I never do this at home. There's, like, so much stuff I have to do at home. And then, you know, you and I will watch something. And then it's, like, something that we both like. So it's not always me following, like, what is something bingeable for me. And I just think, like, maybe if I had my own room and I could, like, watch my own thing and have it be clean in my own space, maybe I would hang out there and spend more time feeding myself.
Honey,
and so I think that...
by all means, feel free. Don't let the doorknob hit you with the good Lord split you.
And don't come back.
I'll be watching Fauda in my little room, hanging out. Listen, I don't agree with you.
You don't think you can have different rooms?
I think the only way to make your own room work is if you each have your own room and then there's a third room for you to sleep in. Now, that's not always an economic option for everybody, but I think if you only have one bedroom, separating it's kind of like, are you guys roommates or are you a couple?
No, can't you sometimes, like, you'll still find a time to have sex?
I'm not even talking about sex. It just feels symbolically like, okay, bye.
Well, I don't know. This morning, I was basically kicked out of the bed because you were asleep. Our daughter came in and slept in the middle of us last night. And then by the time I, like, opened my eyes, I was basically being shoved off the bed. And then I went and slept in her room. So, you know, what is your version of romance?
It's shoving you off the bed with my daughter. I mean, that's where I feel most romantic toward you, is when I'm able to physically kick you off of the bed and watch you collapse onto the floor below.
Listen, I think that maybe as long as you have, you know, you gotta still have physical stuff happening and a place to have that and some nights shared.
You could fuck in the car. That'd be nice.
But, like, it is weird that when we get married, it's like, okay, now this is just the person you're supposed to hang out with all day long, every time you want to watch something.
I feel like this is the episode that the true crime people will be listening to when the two of us are no longer married. They'll be like, you could see it there. The evidence was in. I mean,
I don't think it's that weird.
You would be down to not sleep in the same bed anymore?
Can I have our bedroom?
Where do I sleep?
I mean, in the RV? I don't know. I'm just kidding.
I would love to sleep in an RV.
Listen, all right, Moshe says no. I say yes. Bonnie McFarlane and her husband, they have separate rooms. I remember when Patton Oswalt and Meredith were on.
They have separate rooms?
No, but they were saying they hang out in separate areas.
I'm down to hang out in separate areas.
Every night and watch their own stuff.
End of the night, you come together, and then you come together.
I go to bed at 11. You stay up till 4 a.m. sometimes.
I need 2 bouts of lovemaking every night, from 10 to 10:30 p.m. and from 11 to 11:15 p.m. So I don't see how that's going to work in separate rooms. Oh, did you guys know that we make love 14 times a week I didn't. Have we ever mentioned that on the podcast? 14 times a week.
Listen, I think that 2023 is about bending the norms, trying to figure out what works for you, and maybe it's something that's a little strange or not usually done. Dick Van Dyke over here with his. Do you think we should have like? Remember they had those
Dick
two.
Van Dyke.
I don't know, someone with the separate beds and
Oh, like
like
Ricky Ricardo?
Yeah.
You know, my dad and my stepmom used to sleep like that because they
in
were.
two twin beds.
Yep, they were from this. My stepmom was from this religious sect called the Satmars in Hasidic Judaism, and they don't let the people sleep together. And so it would be two separate beds, and I guess they would like switch off one to fuck on whenever they did that. I don't know how that works. Anyway, you know what? You want a twin bed? By all means. How about this? I'll keep our king size bed, and you can get a cot and sleep on the side, and you can binge on your laptop, and I'll be using the regular TV. Moving on to secrets.
Let's hear some secrets.
Hello. I love you guys. It's really a mixed bag as far as agreeing with you. But I'm calling in support of Moshe. I commend your DJing attempts. And I hope that's going well for you.
Attempts.
You obviously know the phrase, follow your bliss. And I think you're doing that. That's great, mate. So here's my secret. Moshe, I have a dirty secret about video games. I'm a grown man. I am single. I have two lovely daughters. And I have a VR headset. And there's this game on there that you have to try. And it's called Gun Raiders. It's a bunch of kids, just a bunch of boys with guns, battle royale style, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm on there at least once or twice a week. A grown man with a wee boys shooting at each other, and I can't tell anyone. But I thought of you, and I knew you'd support me. So yeah, there you go.
You know what? I revise my sentiment about having your own room. I think absolutely you should have your own room because this isn't a shameful secret. Other than the shame that your partner, likely female, will bring to you for trying to blast some fools with a VR headset on. Like if you, Natasha, ever walked in on me playing Gun Raiders with my VR headset on, like calling some kid a cuck and trying to shoot him, you would never be romantic with me again. And so I think that this is not a secret. This is in fact something that you need to do, and I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I am. I'm proud.
No, I think your attempts at DJing are good as
Natasha.
well. No, I will
The
say
guy barely spoke English. Okay, he's from Scotland. He barely understands the language. He didn't mean attempts. He meant it was a perfect accomplishments.
Well, I remember I had a boyfriend once, and back to the separate rooms, and we did have separate rooms. And no, we didn't have separate rooms, but he was just always in the basement. And then a friend came over, and they said he was like my teenage son. And he was always just down there playing video games. So I do think that if you are going to have separate rooms, I would like to add that you have to bring a little dignity to it.
How do you do that?
Well, you don't turn it into like a sweatbox situation. You try to keep it a place that you could always entertain the opposite sex in a little bit, so you could always be, so you don't want it to be like a disgusting mess with cum socks on the doorknob or whatever that mean like don't come in here, because then it's like
because I came in here.
Right. So it's like then she can come into your space. You just they have to be a little dignified.
I like that.
Thank you.
Maybe the solution is two separate rooms, but you guys need to switch off one night a week and sleep in each other's space.
And also respect gaming hours.
Thank you. Respect gaming. I agree. Respect gaming.
Don't do it like 8 hours, because no woman ever wants to come into that. Try to like...
Respect gaming. I agree. Natasha said it. She respects gaming.
Okay, let's take another secret.
Hi guys, what's up? So I've been sleeping with the same dude for like 3 years, and I kind of always have wanted more from him than he's given me. And there have been a couple times where my period was late and I kind of thought I was pregnant, And I knew, like, in my heart that I probably wasn't because it's never actually come inside me because I'm not on birth control. So, but my secret is that I have hoped that I was pregnant just so that I would have a reason to text him, and he would have to drive 5 hours to come see me, and we could spend time together at the abortion clinic. Okay, thanks. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.
Yeah, that is beautiful. I mean, who doesn't want that? That's a beautiful image.
I gotta say, if that is where the fantasy's going, then you're definitely not getting enough.
Oh, I mean,
from him. And I don't know what to do about that, but I hope that someone who's 5 hours away that you're pining off after, you do want to kind of try to make sure that you're not closing yourself off to other opportunities that might be more suitable for you.
I mean,
closer, more enthusiasm from the partner.
The truth is, across America right now, across the world right now, 75% of long-term booty calls need to be called off immediately. I mean, it's just true. And they know that. And both parties probably know that. The guy, it's usually the guy, not to reduce it to gendered terms, but it's usually the guy. The guy probably knows that he's ignoring the fact that the person he's been sleeping with for years actually has feelings for him. And the girl, she knows that she wants more and that she'll never get it from him. And both parties enjoy what they're getting out of the relationship enough that they'll just allow this little festering. I've done it.
But the girl is 75% of the time harboring more the idea and the pull to want a little more from them.
Yeah, and so the truth is, the minute you feel like, oh, I really want this person to give me emotional fulfillment and I know that they won't, you should immediately end it. Because it's never going to get better. The sex will be good. It'll stay good. But you'll just stay feeling like, oh, fuck. And the truth is, for guys, I mean, did not take my own advice. It's so easy for me to say now that I'm married. But the truth is, for a guy, the minute you know that the girl has caught feelings for you, I mean, listen, it happens in reverse, obviously, that the guy catches feelings and the girl doesn't. But the minute you know that the person on the other end of this thing has caught feelings for you and that you don't reciprocate those feelings and that there's a little part, no matter how small, of them that every time you guys have sex, it breaks their heart, you should break it off. But you can't. I mean, I just wouldn't. I didn't.
Well, you know, it's funny because we're reading our daughter Peter Pan, and even Wendy is like trying to get more from Pan, and he's like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, it's not proper for you to have to ask me that.
No, Pan's the original fuckboy. It's like he's like, I don't want to grow up. I want to hang out with my bros. I want to play with weapons. And every once in a while, I'll come and I'll hang out with girls.
It's so funny.
I got two different chicks. I got a regular sized chick and a little fairy chick. And both of them are sprung on this little green dick. I mean, yeah, man.
He wants to hang out with his Lost Boys. But then what Wendy keeps doing is she keeps mommying them. So she's like their mommy, and they all love her, and she's kind of like Peter's mommy / wife. Like, he's kind of the daddy, but he won't commit to it because he still wants to party with the Lost Boys. And then, but here's the thing. Wendy is kind of if you mommy them and you that's what you don't want to do in a fuckboy situation, is you don't want to also be the person who's there to be like, oh yeah, no, yeah, you should go with that out. Those pants look better. Or, oh yeah, well here's my advice on this. And oh, do you want that? I can order it for you. It's really easy for me. And then you all of a sudden start like being their mommy, like being the person that they need advice and help, but then you're also fucking, but then they don't really want you in that way exclusively.
It's a thing that I think a lot of people do when they can't get what they want emotionally. They figure, if I could infuse myself into the infrastructure of this person's life, then I could make myself indispensable, and maybe that will get me what I want. But the most you ever
they just want someone to ask, because men need wives. A man needs a maid, like...
Yeah.
And I think that women...
A man needs a maid.
Women...
Neil Young over here.
Women, like Ricky Lindholm, and she used to have this thing where they were like, she and Kate, they would say like, oh, don't shirt me. Like, because a guy just wants to fuck you, but then he's also like, hey, can you give me advice? Like, does this shirt look better or this shirt look better? You know, because these are smart women who are like, have taste and they need help.
Don't shirt me.
These guys need help, but then they want to fuck you, but then that's it. They kind of want to close it off at the part where you're like, wait, I'm not doing this for a bunch of people.
I can tell you what, I never shirted a single woman in my life. My booty call situations were pretty much exclusively transactional. You know what? I'm lying. Because, there were different categories of booty calls. There was like pure sex booty calls, and then there was like the almost a girlfriend booty call. And that's the one that really gets people's hearts broken. Anyway, the point is, it's difficult out there. I'll say another controversial thing. I don't think there's anything wrong. No one has done anything wrong when two people start fucking, and then the person says, I have feelings, and then the other person says, I don't. I think we should end this. Nothing bad has occurred. No one has done anything wrong. A person does not owe you emotional feelings. A person does not owe you anything but honesty. And then you owe yourself honesty too. You're being dishonest as well when you keep going back to someone that isn't giving you what you want, and you know it, and you're trying to get them to do it anyway.
You're not every fuckboy might have been as forthright as you, Moshe.
That's true. No, listen, there's dishonesty. That's wrong. There's specific and premeditated emotional manipulation. That's always wrong. What I'm saying is, if everybody's honest and one person doesn't catch feelings, no one's done anything wrong. The wrong starts, and I've done it. The wrong starts when you just keep going back and you just keep ignoring what's right in front of you. For both parties, it's wrong to treat yourself like that. If you're upset at this man for not being emotionally receptive to you, how upset should you be at yourself? He owes you less than you owe yourself. Move on. But anyway, it is a very funny image to think of the two of you cuddling in an abortion clinic. Now that's nice.
All right, let's take another secret.
Hey guys. So when I was in the 6th grade, which was middle school, all my friends were becoming honor roll students, and they were given these fancy certificates because of their good grades. I did not get one, however, because I was more of a creative guy, and it was kind of embarrassing, though, because I was like the only one without one of these certificates in my friend group. And everyone was also given these like bumper stickers that said my student is an honor roll student, that all the parents could like put on their cars. And it was this kind of, show-offy thing. So I thought I needed to get me one of them. And one day in class, we had this autistic student who was given one as kind of like a, supportive kind of thing to do. And I saw it sticking out of his backpack. And in a high-stakes situation, I went ahead and snatched that bad boy and took it home, and then also made a certificate in Photoshop to go along with it. And everybody thought that I was an honor roll student. And I know that that's just terrible. But, was a young, foolish guy at the time. All right, thanks.
I knew things were going wrong when he mentioned that the kid was autistic. I knew something ethically unforgivable was about to occur. And it did. And I wasn't disappointed by that secret. In the end, and the fact that you called it a bad boy, you snatch that bad boy, it doesn't really distract us from knowing what you are, sir, which is pure evil.
How old do you think they were?
High school? I mean, that is a very funny situation to not earn an honor roll bumper sticker, but to steal it from a neurodivergent classmate who'd been given it as a kind of like, you go boy type of situation, and then just bring it home.
He could just get another one.
You could have done is taken it to Kinko's and had them make one for you. But you know what? I respect people that have done things that are really, really bad in their life. I mean, I wouldn't say this is really, really bad. It's in the category solidly of very funny. But Natasha, would you do something like that?
Oh, I'm sure I've done worse. But you change.
Yeah, you do. You live and learn. you live and you learn.
Not all of that is present, like right and wrong isn't fully developed yet when you're young.
No, it's true.
Like
In
I
fact-
remember stealing jewelry from a family friend's jewelry box and thinking it was funny.
I don't know how
Like in 7th grade.
I don't know how I made it through my teenage years without murdering someone or being murdered. Like, literally. I truly don't know. The choices I was making at that time were so ethically, unbelievably stupid. And that I honestly don't know how I made it through. I don't know how any teenage boy makes it through life and doesn't get killed. Anyway.
That's a horrible thought, Moshe.
Dude, I remember one time we had like robbed this girl's house and she came outside and she brought a shotgun out and I was like, oh hell no, she didn't pull a shotgun on me, and I ran toward her. I ran at her, I charged her holding a shotgun, and she, thank God, ran into the house rather than doing the thing that most people with shotguns do, or the thing they're designed to do, turn it on me and shoot me in the stomach and murder me. So I just don't understand how I made it. And
you would have been murdered by a girl. That would have been funny.
It would have been very funny. You know, if nothing else, my family would have gotten a good chuckle out of that. Natasha,
you would have been made fun of.
You think? I think people would.
Little boy Moshe, murdered by a girl.
Oh, there's nothing embarrassing.
You thought if you're a gangster to get murdered by a woman, you don't think that's embarrassing?
I think that's reductive, Natasha, and the most misogynistic thing you've ever said on this podcast. I think women are just as good at men at murdering.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
No, I think women can murder at an equal rate to men. That's what I believe.
All right, well, let's see the numbers. Show me the numbers.
I'm not saying they do. I'm saying they're as good at it if they want to be.
Of course, a woman can learn to aim a gun, but they don't have. Most women don't have that like salivating testosterone that makes you want to like flip a table over.
Hey, women do murder though. They murder.
I understand.
WBM. Women be murdering. Natasha,
yeah.
I think the time has come for us to say farewell. Oh, and speaking of murdering, I have something I'm going to murder of yours later tonight.
What's that?
I think you know.
Okay, I'm excited.
In our mutual room. I'm going to make you see God in a way you haven't since the second baby. It's been really fun, Natasha.
All right, well, talk to you soon.
Hey, come see us. Oh, no. Actually, yeah, if you're in San Francisco, come see us tonight at the Star Theater. There's maybe tickets still available with Reggie Watts. If it's not too late.
I think it's sold out, honey.
All right, goodbye.